guys, welcome back to another episode of the Crazy Faith Podcast. It's your host, Jasmine Todd, and today we have a special guest on this episode, Keturah Orji. Before we get into conversation though, of course, we have to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Agoji. Agoji has pioneered the resistance apparel industry by creating pants that have personally taken my training to a whole new level. With 8 resistance bands built in, these pants will help increase your training intensity and also guaranteed to improve your overall performance. And all you have to do is put on the pants. You're going to get faster and you're going to get stronger. So once again, huge shout out and thank you to Agoji for sponsoring this episode. And I hope you guys are ready to tune in and enjoy, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crazy Faith Podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Todd, and I am here with you today with Keturah. Hello, Keturah.
Hey, Jasmine.
All right, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a background on you. Keturah is a triple jumper. She competes for the U.S. She is also an Olympian. She is a 2016 Olympian. She placed 4th in Rio. She is currently ranked inside the top 5 going into the 2021 Olympics. She is a 2-time World Youth Championship medalist, a 3-time NCAA triple jump champion. Did I miss anything, Keturah? Is there anything that I should add to your roster?
No, that's good. I mean, I won NCAA's 8 times, but it's a good wrap up.
You know what? That's very important to add in, and thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to have you. And let's see. I've got some fun facts here. So I've got my little cheat sheet. I let everyone know I've got my cheat sheet off to the side. So if you ever see me glancing off to the side, I'm still listening, but glancing at my cheat sheet as well.
Okay.
Before we get into you currently, when you were younger, you were a gymnast.
Yes, I was.
So what did you do in gymnastics?
So I actually was a competitive gymnast. I did all 4 events. And my favorite, I think, was either floor or vault. Any power events were really my favorite. I hated bars. But I did it from like 3rd grade to 8th grade. I was training level 9 when I quit, which level 10 is like, after level 10, you're elite gymnast. So I was pretty high, but it just was a lot. And so I quit and started track in high school.
Wow, Keturah. I knew you did gymnastics, but I did not know that you were actually like a real life gymnast out here. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like doing gymnastics prepped you for track and field, or do you think it correlated at all?
Yeah, I think it helped me in almost all the areas of my life, just because we had 20-hour practice weeks, and that's like having a job when you're in middle school. And so we practiced our practices were 4 hours, like 5 to 9 p.m. in the evenings. We practiced on Saturdays, and just a gymnast shoot for perfection. Like, you're really out there trying to perform a routine to get a 10.0. And I think that set me up for my discipline and my strive for excellence, my drive to be perfect and be consistent, because that's really what was pushed into me at a young age doing gymnastics. So I feel like it kind of like formed my mindset and discipline.
Wow, that's amazing, because
Thank you.
I've always wanted to do gymnastics, but I always was told that you have to be short to do gymnastics. So I just was like, no.
Gymnastics actually stunts your growth. So that's why we're short.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You just taught me something new on my own podcast. I love it here. Okay, so growing up, what made you get into track?
Yeah, so I started track after gymnastics because I had remembered that in elementary school, during recess, I would play with boys, and I was always playing tag and like different games, and I was always faster than the boys. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try track out, see how fast I am. Maybe I can be the next Allison Felix. You know, everybody wants to be a sprinter when they start track. And so I really joined track to be a sprinter. And then my coach put me in long jump and triple jump, and I ended up being really good at that and stuck with it. So.
So as you were being recruited, what made you decide to go to Georgia? Because guys, I forgot to mention she also went to Georgia. What made
Yeah.
you decide to go there?
So I chose the University of Georgia because I loved the team when I went there. Well, it started out with I had a home visit with the coach, and he just seemed to really focus on my goals and helping me achieve what I wanted to. And so I was attracted first to the coach and his game plan for me and achieving my goals. Then on my visit, I loved the team. Like I met some of my closest friends while I was at the University of Georgia, and so I think that really sold it for me. It was a top school already. The coach was really good, and I loved the team. So it all came together, and I wouldn't change my choice if I went back.
Wow, man, Georgia. What was it like? Because I was in the Pac-12, so we're just like a weird little conference area. For you guys, conference was a little bit different. It was a little bit more competitive. So how was it like in your guys' conference?
Yeah, I loved being in the SEC, especially because there's kind of a pride that comes with the SEC. Everyone knows like the SECs is like a warm up for NCAA's. Like we're gonna have some of the top athletes in the country at conference, and so winning an SEC title means a lot. Like some people they win their conference, it's like okay, good job, but like if you win SEC, it's like wow, that's a big deal. And so knowing that I was competing against the best of the best all the time, I think really pushed me and motivated me to really stay on top of my training. And I think it really prepared me to compete at some of the best meets in the world, not just NCAA's, but USA's, things like that, because it was the best athletes in the country usually.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy because being at Oregon, like we're in the Pac-12s, like I said, our conference isn't as competitive. So we were always looking forward to watching the SECs, and you guys always produced crazy times, and we looked forward to it. It was amazing. You guys are just, freak of nature. Conference. I don't know how they managed to get such a great conference together, but they definitely did. Before I even move on, I'm so glad to see you smiling because Ari told me to let you know that you need to smile more.
which Ari is this? Ari Javelin thrower?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So
I'm gonna text her after this and tell her to smile more.
make sure tell her she needs to smile a lot more as well.
Okay, I will.
So now that you've transitioned from college to pro, what was that transition like for you? Was that a difficult transition or was it kind of the same? Was it easy going? Did it flow very well or easy for you?
I think it was a good balance for me. I don't think I struggled as much as some people do. Sometimes it's like a drastic change for some people, and other people they say it's really easy. So I feel like I was kind of in the middle. I started out still training at UGA when I went pro, and so I think that helped me out a lot. I still had trainers around me. I still had my same training partners. Sometimes my training partners and I went to the same meets, and so it kind of felt the same when I first went pro. And then now that I'm living in California and I'm a little bit further from like all my friends and family, I think it's been a little bit harder knowing that I'm not as close to people I want to be close to. It's a little bit more sacrificing. I don't have the same thing set up, so it's not like I could just walk into the University of Georgia training room and get treatment. I have to like
Right.
call and make an appointment, or like find a new chiropractor, find a new massage therapist, things like that. And so I've had to be more intentional with the move versus everything just already being in place for me. I also think I struggle a little bit with training. Just knowing that I didn't have to be ready as early as college students had to be ready. So in the NCAA, we have NCAAs in March, and then we have NCAAs again in June. Versus like if you're a pro, you don't really need to be ready in March. You can be like warming up, but you don't want to be peaking in March. You want to be peaking in August. And so trying to adjust with training, like I'm not going to get in spikes till later. I'm not going to start sprinting and doing some intense jumping until later on in the season. It's really an adjustment. So there were definitely some adjustments, but overall, I think it's been a smooth transition.
Right. So you made this Olympic team. What were your thoughts going into Olympic trials? I mean, you're literally a very small margin of people in the US when it comes to triple jump, which it's crazy because our men they excel in the triple jump, and our women, it's really, it's two of you guys that are just the top up there. What was that like, and what was going through your head going into that 2016 Olympic trials?
Yeah, I think going into the trials, I had a lot of confidence because that was the year that I broke the American record at NCAA's. And so just coming off of that meet, going into the trials, I knew that I was in good shape. I felt confident. I felt like I had gone up against the best and proven myself. And so I think I really went in with a lot of confidence, but then also nerves because at the same time I was like, anything can happen. Anyone can come out here and jump and push me out of making the Olympics. Anything could really happen. And so there was definitely nerves in there. And also a little bit of a surreal feeling like, is this really about to happen right now? Like, could I become an Olympian after today? Am I really going to go to Brazil? And I was a sophomore in college at this point. So it was hard to even like grasp that this was about to become a reality for me.
Man, then you make this team. You're now an Olympian. So you get to the Olympics. How was that experience from you? Did you go to the opening ceremony?
I did.
So how was that experience? You got to go experience the opening ceremony. I'm sure you went to go see other sporting events as well. You met a lot of other athletes. What was your experience like at the Olympics?
Yeah, the Olympics was so much fun. I think even starting from when I flew to Texas and we got all of our Olympic gear, I remember when they were measuring us and we were trying stuff on, I was so excited. I was like, I have never had this much nice gear in front of me at once. I cannot believe this. And it was me and Kendall Williams, who's a heptathlete, and one of my UGA teammates. We were going through the whole process together. And then even when we got to Rio, we were roommates and we both like kept looking at each other like, I can't believe we're here. We made the Olympic team. So it was really exciting. We went to go see gymnastics together at some point. And yeah, we didn't really do that much, especially because it was two women and in a foreign country. We weren't sure how safe it was or anything, but we really just enjoyed ourselves. And I loved the experience. And even when it came down to competing, I didn't put much pressure on myself. Like I was like, I made the team. I'm happy to be here. I'm a sophomore in college. Like whatever happens, happens. And I ended up performing really well. So it was a great experience.
Let's talk about performing well. Girl, you came in fourth at the Olympic Games as a sophomore in college. That is beyond doing well. Tell me about that part for you, because I mean, wow.
Yeah, so going into it, I was extremely nervous because a lot of the athletes that I was competing against were people I used to watch on TV and look up to. So it's kind of like little me competing against Alison Felix at the 2016 Olympics. It's like, I've been watching you on TV and now I'm here with you. This is a little bit weird. So I definitely was very nervous and wasn't really sure. I guess I kind of questioned my value at that point because I was like, do I really deserve to be here? Like, am I as good as these athletes that are here? And started questioning myself. And I got into the final. I was the last person into the final. So the way it works is there's a final, and then there's also, if anyone, I don't know if everyone knows how it works, but there's a prelim round where you top 12 make it to a final. Then after that, there's another final that happens, and top 8 will make it to the next final. And so the first round, I got in 12th, and I was the last person in. So I remember for the next final, I told myself, like, you need to go off on the first jump. We can't be playing these games. And I felt like I had more confidence the second competition too. So the second final, I felt a lot better, and I was happy. My first jump was the American record. I said, perfect. I came to do what I did. I don't even need to take the rest of the jumps. I mean, I took the rest of the jumps, but the way my college mindset was set up was like, I made the Olympic team. I just broke the American record at the Olympics. I have done everything that I need to do. I don't care about a medal. I'm here. I've done everything.
So my next question is, you didn't just break the American record not once, but twice. And you're still in battle with that. You're still in such close range. When you broke it the first time, and then the second time, where was your mind at? Like, I know you had to be so excited and pumped.
Yeah, so the first time, I don't think I knew it was the American record. So when I was in college, I really only knew the collegiate record, and that was kind of my goal. And so I remember when I broke the collegiate record, I was just happy, like, oh, collegiate record. And then I broke it again. And I was like, okay, new collegiate record. But then later on, my coach was like, no, that was the American record. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I kind of had that surreal feeling again where I mean, I'm not expecting it. I didn't know. But at the same time, I know people have watched me and like, I don't show my emotions that much. And that may come from gymnastics again, where like you're expected to be perfect. And so if the jump wasn't perfect, I don't care if it's an American record, I still have something I need to work on. And that's something that I battle with within myself where like, yes, you should be excited, but don't get too content either. It's like a balance of both.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely excited both times, but the more times I did it, it almost gets watered down. Like it's not as the first time it's like super exciting, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. But then the more times you do it, it's almost not as exciting as it was the first time.
I'm so glad that you actually had mentioned that, because there's you and then there's Tori on the track, and both of you guys excel in the triple jump, especially here in America. You guys go back and forth, but you guys have complete opposite personalities on the track, and your personality on the track does not resemble your personality off the track at all. What is it like when you're on the track and you see like how Tori's energy is compared to your energy, and it's not even necessary that you don't have that energy, it's just you're very like, you're very calm, you're very there for business. How is that for you out there?
Yeah, I think I've always been an unemotional person, but the way I see track meets and competitions as this is a serious time for me to show off and do what I need to do. Like this is like, we're not playing games. We're here to do what we came to do. And so I know that Tori probably has that same mindset, but she expresses it in like an exciting and like clap and dancey kind of way. While I express it as like, this is business. I'm serious and I'm here to do what I came to do. And so that's kind of my mindset going into the meet, where it's like, there's no smiling, there's no games. Like there's no smiling until I've won, because that's what I'm trying to do here today.
I think it's so amazing. I love watching you guys, because you guys, like I said, you guys are so different, but then also knowing you off the track, your personality is so different from when you're on the track.
It is.
It is very, very different. And kind of leading into that, what music because I know you listen to music and you do enjoy dancing. You enjoy singing along to songs. What does your playlist look like when you're warming up at meets?
Yeah, it includes a lot. So usually I start out with gospel music, like if I'm on the bus or just like waiting to start warming up, I'll probably start out slow with some gospel music, just praising God, thanking him for the opportunity to do something that I love to do. And then I usually transition into Afro beats, which is pretty much African music. Nice beats, sometimes makes me want to dance. Always has like good rhythm, and I feel like I can feel Afro beats in my soul. Like no other song, no other music can reach my soul like Afro beats does. And so I usually go into Afro beats from there. And then I'll get into rap music, which I think most people have in there, because that's kind of like, at this point, I'm talking mess, I'm being cocky, you know how rap is.
Yes.
So that kind of gets me pumped up and ready, like to give me confidence and just to know like, it's business time, like it's go time.
I know you have this love for Beyonce, so I have to tap in on that. You've got this love for Beyonce, and I just need to know, what is your favorite Beyonce album?
My favorite Beyonce album is B-Day, because I think it's because I had the CD and I know almost all the songs and the lyrics to all the songs on that album. But honestly, I know almost all the lyrics to Beyonce songs because I love that woman.
You know, the funniest thing is when you were still on site, you, Erica, and Riley, there was one night. So for the audience, when you guys are listening, we're at the training center, and so we're in like a dorm situation. They're a couple doors down from me. Now, this one particular night, I remember sitting on my bed and I was hearing music and I was thinking it was the Rowers. And so I literally opened my window and I was like,
the rowers are playing this music? Like, what are they listening to? So I begin to really start listening now. And I'm just like, it's Beyonce. Then I start singing along to this Beyonce. But then shortly after, I remember hearing you guys sing. What
Yes,
were you guys doing?
that was definitely us. I don't know how it started. I think we were just talking in the living room, and then Erica put on some music, and then I was like, put on this song, and then we started dancing, and then we were singing, and it just got out of control. Next thing you know, we were just going off because that's what Beyonce brings out of me. So
That was honestly the funniest thing ever, because it was just like this random Beyonce playing in the middle of the week.
yes,
It was
definitely
great.
random.
Okay, as we continue on, I just lost train of thought of what my next question was going to be, because it definitely was to continue on. And wow, I really just lost my train of thought. I can't believe I did that. Wow. Anyways, it's okay. I'll move on to the next portion of my segment here. So the US, like I mentioned earlier, is very dominant, I would say, in the men's triple jump. And the woman, not as much. It's a little more difficult for the woman. Why do you think that is within the US, that it's more difficult for the woman in the triple jump?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the reasons. I know there have been a couple different things thrown out there. One of them is that our American coaches aren't taught the correct technique for triple jump. And so with men, they can get stronger and faster and jump far in the triple jump. But with women, sometimes getting stronger and faster won't always correlate to jumping further in the triple jump. And so I've heard that it could be a technical coaching kind of reason, and just we don't know how to coach it. I've also heard that it might just be because it's not popular. So a lot of athletes that could be really good in triple jump would instead want to do the 100 or 200, or they want to do high jump, whatever is more like promoted and seen as popular. People that could be good at triple jump are going to go to those events that they see gets attraction to it, or publicized. Like women's triple jump isn't often even shown on TV. Like they may show the highlight one jump, but they're not going to show the event. While other events like pole vault, which is a field event, they'll show multiple jumps in the pole vault. And so I think that may also be throwing people out of the event, where they feel like nobody really appreciates that event, I don't want to do it. So I feel like those are the two reasons. I'm not 100% sure though.
Wow, I really hope that the US can get it together over here, because triple jump it's such a beautiful event. It's my favorite event personally, even though I don't do that. And let's talk about this, because you dabbled into the long jump. So can we expect for you to jump in some long jump again?
Yeah, so I think I will always long jump, just because I love that too. I don't think I have a preference of triple and long. And so I'll always continue to long jump. I'm probably going to long jump at the trials too, but the Olympic schedule doesn't allow for me to compete in both as of now. So even if I make the team, I won't be able to compete in the long jump. But it's still fun to go out there, get a good competition in, and just see how far I can jump in that event.
Girl, I love the more the merrier. If you guys don't know, she's also excels in the long jump. So it's not like she just comes out and does mediocre in the long jump. She will actually bring the competition. Keturah, I'm excited. So that makes me happy. I love it. I want to get into your training situation, because you're in a bit of a different training situation right now, where you're part-time in two places. Can we talk about that a little bit, and what made you decide to go that route?
Yeah, so I actually am full-time in Chula Vista now. Last year I was part-time Florida, part-time Chula Vista. I decided to leave my coach because number one, he's a college coach. So his priority is his college athletes. He'll be traveling to college meets with the college students. And so as a whole, I felt like it would benefit me if I found an athlete that just worked with pros and has worked with pros in the past and knows how to just build a schedule and competition schedule based off of a professional, not a college student. And the second reason is I just feel like there's a time for everything. And I felt like my coach from college had taught me everything that he knew, and it was just time to move on. And I don't think it has to be any bad reason or any type of rumors or anything. It's just like, if you feel like you have gotten everything you need to from that coach, that season has ended, it's time to move on and start a new season. And so that's how I kind of see that. It's just timing of things and how things work out.
Definitely. I'm glad you're full-time here. Which leads me into the next question, because I know, obviously, I know, but the rest of the world doesn't know. You're married. You are a whole married woman out here. I kind of have two parts to this question, because during that time where you were part-time Chula, also Florida, your husband was living somewhere else, right? Was he in Atlanta, or he was in Atlanta? So how did that dynamic work for you?
Yeah, and so that was one of the reasons that I did the part-time Florida, California deal, because Florida is much closer to Atlanta than obviously than California. And so we could still see each other and be in reach of each other. But ultimately I was going to move out here. It just gave us more time together. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
How was that experience? Like, how did you guys make that work? I guess that's the better question. How did you guys manage to make that work?
Yeah, it's been hard, but when you love someone, you just kind of have to make it work, especially now that I'm in California with the time differences. He'll be like in the middle of his workday and I'll just be waking up. I'll be like kind of toning it down for the night, and he'll be like ready to go to sleep. So it's like the time difference has made it hard, but we know that I'm out here chasing my goals to hopefully become an Olympic medalist, and the first Olympic medalist in the women's triple jump for America. And he also has like properties in Atlanta. He has his job in Atlanta. So we didn't feel like it was necessary for either of us to uproot or have to give up our goals to be together. So we decided that we would do distance and we would go chase our goals. And as we're doing that, we'll work it out as we can and just stay together and stick through it. And God is our foundation. So we feel like that's really all we need.
That is beautiful. Can you tell us how you guys met?
Yes, he was on the track team, actually. He ran the 800 for the University of Georgia. So we were just friends first, and then we both liked each other, and then we got married. That's the rushed version, but we met because he's on the track team.
That is beautiful. I love the rushed version. Beautiful. I love this. That's actually quite some time, because we've been out of college for a little bit, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So we went through this crazy time where the world kind of got put at a halt. How was 2020 for you?
2020 was a roller coaster because it started out with me going to USA indoors, and I had originally broke the American record there, and then Toria responded and broke the American record again. So like that's when the roller coaster started there. And then COVID came to America and hit when I was in California. And so I started freaking out, thinking that they would like stop flights and that I wouldn't be able to fly back home. And then the Olympics got canceled, and I said, I'm flying back home. So we went back home to Atlanta, and then things were closed down. So I was trying to figure out ways to train, but the weight room's closed, tracks are closed, like everything is closed. And I'm trying to work out at home with what I have. I'm trying to buy equipment, trying to just stay in shape any way I can, not knowing if there was going to be a competition at all this year, not knowing when track would be back, not knowing what I was getting ready for. I kind of lost motivation because I was like, what am I training for? And so I think that was kind of the roller coaster. And then I got married too, because we didn't know when COVID would really stop or end or what it would affect. So we just reduced our wedding size and decided to still get married in 2020. So yeah, overall it's a roller coaster, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But I'm happy to have been made out of it, to make it out of 2020, and to be hopefully competing again in April. So I'm super excited about that.
Hey, April's coming up here quick.
Yes, it is.
How did you kind of navigate through that? What were ways that you managed to deal with that emotional roller coaster that you were dealing with?
Yeah, I think the number one way was family that I dealt with it. So at one point, I had went to see my sister and was staying with my sister. At one point, I was with my husband. So at one point, I went to New Jersey and saw my parents. And so I'm a person that likes to be around my family. And I know that some people stayed quarantined the whole time that like coronavirus was going on, but that would not have been healthy for me mentally, emotionally, physically, anything. And so I really relied on my family and just staying with them and being around them. And then also trying to lift my spirits, knowing that this is not going to be forever. Like, it's not like we will always be in this situation. So I just need to like
Right.
hold on and push through, and it will eventually come to an end. So just trying to keep positive thoughts during the time when I was like, when will track be back? What am I doing?
No, yeah, definitely that part, especially that when is track gonna come back? Like
Yeah.
that was so confusing. Uh when the Olympics got canceled, was that, I know for some people it was devastating. For some people, the weight was lifted off their shoulders. They felt a lot more relaxed and ready. Where did that put you, and what was your thought process when you heard the Olympics was canceled?
Yeah, I had a mixture of both emotions, but I think honestly, I was more happy because with my coaching change happening in 2020, I was a little bit nervous about my adjustment and not knowing like, okay, I'm going to adjust to these new workouts, new weights, and everything. And I don't know, sometimes it takes time to adjust to a new coach. And so I was really nervous that I might have a down 2020 during an Olympic year because of transferring coaches. But the great thing is that COVID ended up postponing the Olympics. And so it just gave me more time to get more comfortable with Jeremy's workouts and get used to him, us get used to each other, and really just learn more about each other. So I think I ended up being thankful for it. But in the beginning, I was worried, like, what are we going to do? Everyone's been looking forward to Tokyo 2020 for so long. So
Yes.
I was definitely like kind of upset and worried at first.
Yeah. As we see that the indoor season kind of got started, although they've canceled World Indoors and then USA Championships, we're seeing all these times that are being produced, and it's amazing. To me, I feel like it was what track needed. Do you kind of feel that way as well? Or what are your thoughts on that break that we finally got?
Yeah, I feel like it's what the world needed, not even just track, because when COVID first came to America and it was affecting people, you saw families start to spend more time with each other. You saw families start to go on walks with each other, be more intentional with the time they're spending to each other, appreciate each other more, knowing that like life is quick and you don't know when it comes and goes. And so I felt like it was great for the world and then also for track because it gave people time. I know for the older athletes, it might not have been helpful for them, but for a
Right.
lot of athletes, it gave them time to like calm down, focus on themselves, work on themselves, whatever they wanted to, and put track to the side for once, and then be able to return to it with probably a healthier mindset and more motivation. Because honestly, we probably all took track for granted because it came and went every year. But then when
Yeah.
we couldn't have it, we're all like, wow, we really missed this. And so to
We
not be
really
able to do
missed
it
it.
for yeah, and so to not be able to do it for a whole year kind of woke us up with like you need to be thankful for the opportunity to go compete, the opportunity to have access to a track, the opportunity to lift weights every day. Like it really changed our perspective on the things we do every day and how we need to be thankful that we can do them.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And talking about things off the track and out of the track, you have a book club, right?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us about your book club?
Yes, so I started reading a lot more when I graduated from college because I was thinking back to when I was younger and how I loved reading, and I completely stopped because school forces us to read, and I didn't want to read on the side when I was already reading for school. And so I started reading. I started out with just one book a month, and then my friend Olivia texted me, and she was like, "Hey, we started a book club together." And I was like, I've never had a book club before. I don't really know about this. But she's like, it can just be on Instagram. We'll form conversations. And so it's been really great. I've enjoyed it, especially I don't know if you read, Jasmine, but it is so fun being able to text your friend about the book and what's going on in the book. And so just having people to talk about the books I'm reading is like so exciting, especially like telling people the plot or like trying to guess if it's a murder mystery, trying to guess who the killer is, like just things like that. It's corny, but it's so much fun to be able to talk to other people about like plots of books. And then also reading self-help books and things that challenge me and help me grow and expand my knowledge and mind. So reading as a whole is something that's super important to me. And yeah, so we formed the book club and it's been going really well.
That's good. I really love the murder stuff because those murder mysteries, that's the stuff that I'm definitely into.
Yes, it gets your heart going.
That would be fun. Yeah. What has been your favorite book so far that you've read?
Ooh, that's hard. I'm gonna go with the first one that came to my head, which is Dangerous Girls. And it's this book about this group of girls go on a trip, I think during spring break, to some beach or some area, I don't know. And one of them gets killed. And so the whole book is trying to figure out who killed the girl. And at the end, it was a plot twist. When I tell you that my heart was beating so fast when I was finishing the book, I could not believe it. I've never had a book really like impact my emotions like that. Like it was like I was watching a movie. So I'll go with that book.
Yeah. Can you text the name of that book?
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Thank you. So what has been a book that you thought was going to be a really good book and it didn't give what you thought it was going to give?
Oh, so I read this book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And so in my head, I was thinking like, oh, this is going to motivate me to change my mindset. And it's going to tell me how powerful my mind is. And like, I just had all these expectations for it. And in the middle of reading it, I was like, this book is so weird to me. It was written, I think it was written in like 1950 or so. It was quite some time ago, which I didn't realize it was that old. And it just seemed like it was really a reach. It was like almost, it felt like it almost said, if you think about it, you can move a house. Like that's not literally what he said, but that's the vibe that the book was giving me. And I'm like, this is too extreme for me. Like it's not really what I was expecting is not doing for me. So that's one that I
not doing any justice.
Yeah, so I had high expectations for that one and it let me down.
Dang. Okay, well, I'm gonna have that in my mental notes here.
Would not recommend.
Do not recommend this. Add it to my notes. I've got that mental note completely down because wow.
Yeah.
And now I kind of want to get like off track. I've got some fun questions that I want to end with. One, obviously the podcast is called Crazy Faith. And so what does crazy faith mean to you?
Yes, so crazy faith to me means believing in things that seem impossible, that you can't even imagine. There's a Bible verse that says that God has things in store for us. This is not the actual quote, but it says something like this, like God has things in store for us that we can't even imagine. And so I feel like that's what I think of when I think of crazy faith. Like you cannot even imagine what you're capable of doing. And so, yeah, that's the definition for me.
Did you feel like it was crazy faith when you broke the American record the first time?
I didn't even think that I could do it. So I didn't have the crazy faith. Like I felt like I feel like it could have been an example of crazy faith if I had believed it before, but I didn't even believe it. So I guess that is an example because I didn't imagine it. Yeah. So I guess it is an example of crazy faith.
Trick question. Gotcha. Okay. So I just did this question with somebody else and the outcome was absolutely hilarious because you see where a lot of people's minds kind of go. So I really want to see where your mind goes with this question, okay?
Okay.
If you're stuck on an island and you could only take 3 things with you, what 3 things are you taking?
3 things? Is food considered a thing?
Food can be considered a thing.
Okay. If I'm stuck on an island, I'm bringing a boat to get off the island. I'm bringing food and I'm bringing my husband. I don't know if I'm cheating because I said a boat, but that's my answer.
You know what? I can't even count that as cheating because you're in modern times because you can bring a boat. Me, on the other hand, I was stuck in the 1800s. I did not think about a boat, so.
So what did you bring?
So my items was matches.
Okay.
But then I upgraded it after this conversation to a patch of lighters because.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then I said a knife, but then I upgraded it to a machete.
Okay.
And I cannot for the life of me remember what the third item was because yeah, I have no idea what it was, but I know it was something absolutely ridiculous now that I've been thinking back on the answers to this question. And so I thought it would be a fun question for me to ask everybody.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is you have heat and you have a knife to kill anything that comes at you.
This is why I love you. You brought out the positive sides of this because earlier it wasn't giving what I thought it was gonna give, and I got some backlash for it.
Uh-oh. Everyone's mind is different.
Everyone's mind is very different. I'm clearly stuck in the 1800s. I'm not in modern day times. I'm just not in these modern day times. The other question, now this one is extremely random. Now, mind you, I found this on Google. I just searched up some really random Google questions, okay?
Okay.
They were probably intoxicated coming up with this question.
Okay.
Okay, so you're in a room and a penguin with a sombrero walks in the room. Bear with me. What does this penguin say to you and why?
The penguin says, "Do you want some tacos?" And why did he say that? Because he just came from cooking tacos and he wants to share them with me.
If you ever want to find some really random questions, Google them because I don't know how I found that question, but I asked my friends that the other day and I was like, would this be good for the podcast? And they were just like, Jasmine, were you drunk?
Well, I like that you still went with it. You stuck with it.
I had to stick with it because I feel like I found the question and now I have to ask it to somebody. Here we are. So I know you also do some of these TikTok dances. You like to do TikToks and stuff. What has been your favorite TikTok dance?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember them, Jasmine. Okay, Renegade's the only one that I still know, and so I love dancing. My little sister is actually a dancer, but she teaches me. I cannot learn the TikTok by myself. She learns it and then teaches me it, and so that's the best way for me to learn. Whenever I'm with her, I'm like, teach me a TikTok dance. And so Renegade is the only one that I still remember after like months. I did like probably like years, like a year and a half ago, and I still remember Renegade. So I guess it's my favorite one.
You know what? I have to give you big props for that because I tried to, you know what? That's like when TikTok really started like boom and everyone was doing the Renegade dance. And I was like, oh, I want to learn this dance. No, I tried to learn it. And you know how I tried to learn it? I tried to learn it off YouTube and they slowed everything down so much. And then when the music came on, I was like, I'm behind. For the life of me, I could not get that dance together. So I give you big props for that because the Renegade dance is difficult.
Yeah, get you a sister that's a dancer.
I'm gonna go call my mom and be like, hey, you and dad need to work on a little sister so she can teach me these dances because they're not for, I'm the simple ones, okay? Very, very simple. I can only do about 4 of the motions and that's about it.
Yeah, it's gonna have a whoa in it and it's gonna have a head move in it for sure.
That's literally the only things I know. But I love TikTok, crazily enough. I love watching them. I've got one more question.
Okay.
So out of all of the not the field events, wow, I'm so biased. Sorry. out of all all the events in track and field, all the event groups, what group is the funniest?
The funniest?
The funniest.
Okay. Hard. This is hard. An event group?
Mm.
I'm gonna have to go with male sprinters. Only because, like, even if I'm not having a one-on-one conversation with them, if I'm just sitting somewhere near one of the male sprinters and they're talking, I'm probably gonna laugh. Like, that's just how they are. So I'm gonna have to go with male sprinters.
That's a good choice. I have to support that choice because they're goofy as heck.
Yes, they are.
They're definitely goofy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Keturah, for coming on and joining me in my Crazy Faith podcast. I really enjoyed having you on, and I personally can't wait to see you jumping. I can't wait for you to come join us in the long jump because the more the freaking merrier in my eyes. I love it. I love the competition. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do this year.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. This was fun.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Crazy Faith podcast. Once again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Agoji. With 8 resistance bands built in, Agoji's resistance pants have pioneered the resistance apparel industry, helping increase your training intensity and improving your overall performance. Get faster, get stronger, and it's as simple as putting on the pants. So once again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the next one. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, maintain that crazy faith.